Hello, thank you for tuning in to Vandalay Guitar Repair. Today on the workbench, I have my very favorite guitar. This is my 2023 Gibson Les Paul Studio. It's in the Smokehouse Burst, which I just love. And man, I'll tell you what, I am in love with this guitar. It's almost like it was made for me. I don't know how else to put it. I've been so busy lately, I haven't really had much time to work on my own stuff, which is a good thing, not a bad thing. But with that, it just needs new strings. So I have not touched, I'm kind of embarrassed to say, I have not touched this guitar since I bought it from Gibson. It was set up perfectly from them. I, I don't know if everyone's experience would be the same, but I wholeheartedly encourage anyone that's shopping for a Les Paul to buy it from Gibson. I haven't done anything to it. It still has the Gibson strings on it, which, they're not my favorite. I'm going to put my favorite strings on it. A set of 10s, which it has 10s, but GHS boomers. They're just, they're what I've used forever. And I'm going to condition the fretboard and just, check everything out. Otherwise, I mean, it's perfect. And I'd like to take a look, because I haven't even opened it up to look at. I know it has a PCB board. I'm not going to mess with that. I know a lot of people don't like them, but it sounds great. I don't plan on changing the pickups. And if you're going to change your pickups around a lot, it is good to hand wire it. I did hand wire my Tribute, which had a PCB board, but when I got it, it didn't. So that's the main reason I did that. I got that guitar really cheap because someone tried to hand wire it and it wasn't working. So I guess I just gave up and traded it in. So I got that at just a steal, and it took me all of 15 minutes to hand wire it with some CTS pots, orange drop capacitors, and boom, it was working fine. I did put a JB in the bridge pickup, Seymour Duncan JB, because I did not like the 490T that much. It was okay, but I love the 490R. This has a 490R and a 498T. It is my personal favorite Gibson pickup set. It just does it all. I play, heavier music, and it just works great for that, but it cleans up well. Another reason I wanted a studio around this year is it does not have the binding on the neck. Some people love that. I just prefer no binding on the neck. That's a personal preference. I've played plenty of guitars with binding that are great. This does have the push-pull coil tap, not coil split for the pickups. I don't really use it much. If anything ever happens with the PCB board, I'll just wire it straight. But like I say, it sounds fine. I'm not going to mess with it. But I would like to just take a look at it because I haven't done that. Change the strings, like I say, hydrate the board, and that's about it. The only thing that I can say that I would love to do with this guitar, and I'm not going to, but if I had the skills, the finishing skills, I would love to scrape around the guitar and make like the faux type binding where you could see just the exposed maple. I think that would look great on this. But yeah, maybe one day if I find somebody who's willing to do it, I can trade them some work for it or something. But as I say, this thing came set up perfectly out of the box. I haven't done anything to it at all. So let's just start out by I want to take a look. I want to take a look at the PCB. Just because I haven't. Some have dip switches. I don't think this one does, but I honestly don't know. Hang on. Take a look. All right, I have the screws off. Let's use the suction pig here. Boom. There we go. Nicely wired in here. Like I say, it does have the push-pull pots. These are all quick connects. So if you did want to change pickups in one of these, and you're going to use Gibson pickups, you could switch them out pretty easily. And I personally like to solder. I don't have any problems with it. But again, I'm not going to do anything with it unless I have a problem. And it has the Gibson branded pots for the tone. But it's all listed. Nice neck, bridge, switch. I mean, it's pretty idiot proof. So yeah, looks great in there. Good job. Good job, Gibson. All right, let me put this back together and we'll start taking these strings off. Okay, so I got this for myself as a gift for retirement, and you know, the tribute wasn't really. I got the Gibson tribute, which I love, and by the way, it's a tone machine with that JB and the maple neck, and it has a thicker 50s neck, and it's a riff, just a riff guitar. It really is. But again, this guitar I feel like it's just made for me. It has a slim tapered 60s neck. It plays so fast. What I did is it's, you know, it's a gloss finish, and the neck was a little sticky to me at first. I took some of the McGuire Scratch X, which I learned from Trogley, and I just cleaned the back of the neck with that, and it just made it like glass. I mean, it is fantastic. But I tell you what, it plays so well. I used that McGuire's on my tribute to polish the top up into a semi-gloss, because it's all flat, or satin I should say, which I like the satin on the neck, but I thought, well, you know, let's see what I can do. And I just worked on it for a little while with, you know, by hand, and it brought the top up to a real nice semi-gloss. Alright, so this has the Grover tuners, which I really love. And I'm just going to make sure everything's tight. And something that I do on Gibson guitars, in this case, because it's set up so perfectly, I mean, not that I can't set it up again, but I'd rather not, because it's just perfect. So I take a little bit of tape and I just put it right here across the bridge. Painter's tape. That way, you know, it doesn't hurt the finish, doesn't hurt anything. And that way, I won't accidentally move those wheels. I'm not going to take, you know, the bridge off. If I do take the bridge off, I'll put the tape on the wheels, because I just want it to stay right where it is. But also, so I don't scratch my guitar, I usually put a little piece on the tailpiece, just like this, and that'll keep the tailpiece from sliding off when I cut the strings. So it's a nice little trick. You don't have to do it, and I mean, if you're careful, you're not going to mess with it anyway. But I'm not always careful enough, so that's easy. All right, let me cut these strings. Okay, so I just checked all the tuning machines, make sure they were tight. Actually, the button was a little loose on one of them, so I tightened that. I'm checking my strap pins now, and I did put strap locks on this. I put strap locks on everything. But going back to the story about, you know, my retirement, which I retired a little early because, well, I was just stressed. I had a very high stress job, but I saved for quite some time to get a Les Paul Standard, and I played a bunch of Gibsons. I went a lot of places and played them, and you know, I just fell in love with the studios. So I was able to, because I got this from the Gibson demo shop. So it did have a couple little issues, and I'll show you what they are. Right here, where the nut is, there's some finish came out. You can't even see with the strings on. It doesn't affect anything. I don't care. And right here, it was a little over buffed. And let me see here. You can see there's a tiny bit of finish sink in the seam. That was it. And they completely disclosed everything that was going on. And I mean, those are minor. Matter of fact, I've already made that so much worse from playing it. I mean, which I knew I would, so I didn't care about any of it. But not only did I get a great price on this, and again, I was looking for the studio because I just fell in love with it. It's just, for me, it was just perfect. But also, once I started looking at it, I hearted it, liked it, whatever. They started reaching out to me and haggling with me, which I didn't even know they would do. I don't know if they do that with everything, but they did have quite a few of these in the demo shop at the time. So I got this at a great price, and I ended up, being able, with the money I saved, being able to get 2 Les Pauls. So I got the Studio and I got the Tribute. Like I said, the Tribute was just kind of a bonus. It was just so inexpensive. But I'm not going to take off this pick guard. I'm just going to clean it underneath. But I'm gonna clean this really well, or pretty well. Not like it's that bad. And put strings on it. And that's really it. But I don't think it needs anything. The frets are nice and shiny. I'm going to go ahead and hydrate this right now, though. This board is needed to be hydrated. I just haven't done it. Up a little. So, use my favorite stuff here. Dunlop 65. This is, of course, the fretboard lemon oil. And I do, which I've said it on the channel many times, I do this with all of my guitars that have rosewood or maple fretboards, like once a year. And depending on your climate, you might want to do it more, or you might not have to do it as much. But I just do it once a year. I don't do it with every, well, I say with every string change. There's some guitars I don't change strings for a year because I don't, I'm a bass player, really. I've always wanted Les Pauls, and I love playing guitar, but I'm not a great guitarist. I'm a hack guitarist at best, but I enjoy it. Always, since I was a kid. I started out playing guitar, but I haven't played guitar in a band since late 80s. When I was in Crown of Thorns, I played guitar. And it was fun. It was. But I've always wanted a Les Paul my entire life. So I'm happy to have not just one, but 2. But again, there's so many different models, and I really wanted a standard. I had no idea I was going to fall in love with studios like this, and the price is right. I mean, I think this new was about $15.99, something like that. And not that that's cheap, but it's not bad for a Gibson. And you can feel the quality. You really can. All right. Let's see here. Get that out to pick up. I can help it. I did just a little, but it's okay. I'll wipe it off. I play this guitar quite a bit, and if I was playing in a band, I'd probably change the strings on everything a little bit more often, but I don't play guitar in a band. I doubt I ever will again. Who knows? You never know. I do record sometimes, but few and far between anymore. Rifle is semi-retired, and of course, I play bass with Rifle. I am a bass player by trade. And we're going to let that soak in. And while that soaks in, I'm going to clean the rest of this with more of this Dunlop 65. This guitar polish and cleaner, I absolutely love too. My buddy Dale got me got me that stuff a long time ago, and man, it lasts forever. Oh, also, while I'm thinking about it, I generally put a little bit of graphite in the nut slots. I just do it with every guitar. I use a mechanical pencil, that way it goes in there easily. This helps with tuning stability. I mean, this doesn't have any kind of trim on it, so it's not really necessary. And this nut is cut perfectly, so the tuning's been really stable anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and clean this thing while this soaks in. And what I do with this is I just spray it onto this is a t-shirt. I do have a microfiber, but sometimes I just like an old t-shirt. I'm just gonna clean this whole thing up and wipe it down. When we come back, we'll wipe off the excess on the fretboard, and we'll put strings on it. All right, so I wiped off all the excess. Man, that rosewood looks beautiful. I love the streakiness in this fretboard. I think this is a beautiful guitar. I mean, I know it's nothing fancy, but I'm going to have an R9, my buddy's R9, on the bench here soon. He wants to put the original potentiometers back in it. He had them changed. And oh God, talk about gorgeous. But I fell in love with this Smokehouse Burst when I first saw it. So I was looking for one of these, and like I say, I found a good deal on this one. So really happy. All right, I'm gonna I'll clean underneath this tape once I get the strings on it. But I've wiped it down pretty nicely. Pickguard's a little scratched, but you know what? That's okay. I am a pickguard on kind of guy. A lot of people like the Les Pauls with the pickguard off. I don't know. I've always liked pickguards on it. But yeah, you know, preference, right? There is no right or wrong. It's just what you like, what you don't like. The only other thing I did to this, by the way, besides putting strap locks on it, is I put the poker chip on it. It didn't have a poker chip with it when I got it, but it has a COA and everything like that. And yeah, great guitar, great guitar. I love the tone. Again, I love the 498 T 490R combination. 490R is just, I think, one of the best sounding rhythm pickups there is. It just so creamy. That's probably an overused term, but and I think it's probably around 13 and a half K on the 498T, which is just perfect for me. It has enough output, drives the amp well. It takes saturation really well. I mean, I like to play with a lot of gain. So yeah. All right, so start putting strings on it. Again, I use GHS boomers. I use 10 to 46. One thing I will say about strings is whatever string you like is the right string. Don't get into the line of thinking that, oh, this string's better than that string. Or I mean, as long as it's a quality string, most of your string, I would say, let's say longevity and even sound depends on your personal pH in your skin. These work really well for me. I've been using GHS strings on guitar and on my basses, oh Lord, I mean, since the 70s. But they work well with my pH. You might try them and you might rust them out in a week. They last for months for me. So keep in mind that, you know, a lot of times people will say, no, this is the best string, this is the best string. The best string is what works for you. And as far as gauges go, string gauge doesn't make your guitar sound necessarily heavier or anything. You can sound just as heavy with a lighter gauge string as with a heavier gauge string, but what it does do is it changes the tension. So for instance, tune a whole step down. I tune everything to D standard, and then to drop C if I'm, dropping the E string or the sixth string. And so with a lighter string, it would make it a whole lot more, a lot less tension. So the heavier strings have more tension. It depends on what you like. I like the feel of tens dropped a whole step down. It just feels right to me. Some people would prefer 11s, etc. Again, there is no right or wrong. Just while I have this like this, I'm going to check the neck. Oops. I'll get it right here in a minute. All right, looking good, pretty dead on. All right, I'm going to go ahead and throw these strings on, and then we'll take a look at it. All right, so as I check this neck, there is just a tiny bit of relief, which is fine. I mean, usually you want a little bit of relief, but I like it to be pretty dead flat. Oops, I like it to be pretty dead flat before I put strings on it. So I'm going to adjust this neck real quick and straighten it out before I put the strings on. So if you haven't done that before, not much to it. Have the truss rod exposed. Let's see here, my Gibson tools. And I'm just going to turn, it's probably only going to take about a quarter turn, and we're going to go to the right to tighten it up. Let's see where that gets us. Boom. That's it. I thought that's all it would need. All right, let me get these strings on. So I'll usually get the high and the low E string on, and that way everything is set. I can go ahead and take this tape off. It's a little easier to work with. I'm not going to scratch the guitar this way. And I'll wipe these couple little areas while there aren't many strings on. All right, let me put the rest of these strings on. All right, all strung up. I am just going to tune her up. The intonation should be fine. I hadn't changed the gauge of strings or anything. Although I did adjust the neck just a tiny bit, so I will check that too. Hang on, let me get her tuned. Okay, so I stretched the strings and tuned them. Let's tune again and check the intonation. Should be good. Right on there. I don't know if you can see that well. Yeah. And again, I'm tuned a step down to D standard. Right on. Oops. Would it help if I hit the right string? It's well within a cent. Good enough. Right on. Right on. Oh, well within a cent, just barely. Like not enough to even mess with. All right. So, all seems to be good. Wipe it down again because I got my fingers all over it. Of course, you know, I'm gonna get my fingers all over it again, but all right, perfect, just the way I like it. Thanks a whole lot for tuning in. I really appreciate you. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends, listen to Rifle every day, rock on, love one another.